right, good evening and welcome to week number 4 here on Speed Racing Network. I'm Greg Olenek, joined by Nick Halda as always. And Nick, bit of a new track on the circuit, hasn't even been ran yet. We're here at the Chicago Street Course. You got a whole bunch of puns lined up. It's going to be an exciting race tonight.
Absolutely, it's going to be real interesting to see. These guys don't have any real life racing to draw from. Even our guys have only ran this virtually a few times, so it'll be a blast to get out there, see what these guys can do to handle this road course. Can these NASCAR cars handle a road course? We're going to find out tonight.
Yeah, so down here on our little broadcast booth, our little makeshift broadcast booth, because we don't even know where that's going to be yet, and it's got a good view down the city, and we are right next door as you see Johan Seminario coming on by for his qualifying run here, as we have just under 4 minutes left here in qualifying. So let's go ahead, check out those championship standings after last week's race. Got to thank you guys for stepping in last week, dealing with COVID over here, but we're all good now. And Joseph Gauzy just pulling away from that gap there on the cut line, 55-point advantage. Already got the win there. Ryan Johnson, though, the winner last week at Twin Ring, he finds himself in sole possession of second place. Reese Schaefer, Brian McAvoy, and Seth Berger rounding out the top 5. But it's starting to get down to this middle part of the regular season. These races, especially like Chicago Street Course, if you can come away with at least a top 10 here tonight, that's going to be a great finish, because you're not going to have to burn one of those drop weeks like a lot of people are already planning on doing here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I was talking to a couple of drivers, and there was a lot of practice going on. We had the 2 weeks off, a lot of teams set up practices. One driver was telling me, I feel like I've been searching so long to find the right way to get around this track. So it'll be real interesting. Like you said, a lot of drivers are planning on this being kind of a wild card, and if you can get out of here and not have to use a burn week, that would be definitely one you want to hold on to, because you'll have a leg up on the rest of the competition.
Let's go ahead and check out those team results from last week. Rat Pack falling to JW Racing, tying with Tank Racing for the highest scoring total last week, 112 points for each of those teams, both coming away with the win. Tank beating Bobby Anderson Racing there. Phoenix getting a win over Yellow Stripe, 87-53 in the bye week for Gear Up Motorsports, They're going to get that win. So let's check out those team standings here real quick and see how they line up after week number 3. Tank Racing and Gear Up both tied at the top there, 3-0, but Tank Racing with the points advantage so far. Phoenix there, 2-1 there in third place. JW and Bobby Anderson both tied at 1-2. They're trying to make up some ground this week. And Yellow Stripe and Rat Pack Racing there also 1-2. So every team with a win so far this season. Let's check out those week 4 matchups with just under a minute left here in qualifying. Tank's going to go up against RPR. PVR, Phoenix Virtual Racing, going to go up against Gear Up Motorsports. That's a big matchup here this week. And Yellow Stripe Motorsports going up against JW, the battle of 1 and 2 teams there. And Bar getting the bye this week, so they will advance to 2-2. What's standing out to you here, Nick?
Well, looking at those teams that are 1 and 2, Bar sitting there, they're guaranteed a victory. So you're looking at the 3 other teams that are 1 and 2, knowing it. You don't want to be falling 2 spots behind. You want to keep up with Bar, knowing they're definitely going to 2-2. So it's going to be big for someone like RPR, and of course that other matchup we have there with JW and Yellow Motorsports there. They're definitely going to want to be the ones to jump up to make sure they get to 2-2 as well.
Yeah, so the guys are wrapping up the qualifying session right now. So let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to Buttkicker, as we always do, for coming on board here this year. Go ahead and check them out and see what kind of hardware they got. Pretty much, I'd say 75% of the sim racer community has some type of Buttkicker equipment, because it is just that good. So go ahead and check out buttkicker.com. And it's getting around that holiday season. Maybe someone might be able to use it as well. And also got to thank TJ's Team Foundation for coming on board here this season, as they did in season 3. A great foundation fighting pediatric cancer, and I got to thank Travis Anderson, because we're very excited to be a part of them over there at morethanAcape.org. So please, if you have the time, go ahead, check them out. spread the word or even donate if you're able to. So let's go ahead, get on out there and look at this view, man. It is just something that we've never seen here before in NASCAR. I'm excited. I'm definitely considering going to this race because it is going to be awesome. We're here in Chicago, Nick.
And the city looks so peaceful from up here. It's going to be a great view. Racing around on a street course. I mean, it's 110 miles in Chicago. Driver's got a 75% tank of gas. It's dark in the broadcast booth. We're wearing sunglasses. Greg, hit it.
Yeah, so a bit of an odd circuit, but it's a tricky circuit. It's trickier than it looks, Nick. I know you've turned a few laps. I've turned a few laps since owning the track here on iRacing, and it is not easy. I think we're going to see a lot of stacked traffic here. If we see an incident, there is not a lot of room to get around it with walls on both sides. But no surprise here to see Adrian Schumacher topping the boards here, getting the pole here this evening in that 82 machine. His tank racing buddy there, Joseph Causey, he is starting second. Randy Nichols and Ed Shearer are going to be in row number 2.
And in row number 3 on the inside will be Reese Schaefer. Actually, my screen just locked up on me for a second. Yeah, I got to back out and go back into the screen.
Yeah, so I'll take it over. 5th place going to be Reese Schaefer. Brian McAvoy, he's going to be starting in the 6th position. Johan Seminario, Lane Hostler, that's going to be row 4. And Emerson Ardon with Brandon Domain there outside row 5. That's going to be your top 10 here. Going through a little bit more of the field. A smaller field than we're used to here. Ryan Johnson, Joseph DuPont, row number 6 here. And then row 7 is going to be Seth Berger, Timothy Latham, Skip Gandy, Alonzo King in row number 8. And Drew Ballesteros, Justin Rideout, 2 JW Racing teammates. That's going to be row number 9 with Blair Holloman and Byron McDonald rounding out your top 10 rows. So 27 cars in the field here tonight. Got one question for you, Nick. Who you got?
It's probably taking low-hanging fruit here, considering he's got the pole, but we're on a street-style road course, and there's a guy with the name Schumacher in the field. So, I mean, how can you not go with Adrian Schumacher?
Yeah, that's a very, very solid pick. I'm looking here through the field. I saw some good speed out of the 79 machine here. I might take Brian McAvoy a little bit further on back here. I was watching him in practice as I was getting familiar with my camera angles, and got to say, I'm kind of impressed with what I'm seeing so far with that 79 machine. Might have some speed here tonight, starting P number 6.
What's going to be interesting, starting at P number 6, like you can see even on this parade lap how tight it is for these guys. So imagine what it's going to be like racing. I mean, what's the passing going to be like? Can you come from 25th or even 6 to 4? So it's going to be really interesting to see. And then another thing to think about is all the other road style courses that we race on, right? The corners are banked to aid the car. We're on Chicago street courses here. The only banking is the crowning of the road designed to get the rain off of it. So these guys are fighting a road and a track and a car that's, real interesting combination to see who's going to be able to hang on to it.
Yeah, so from my understanding, we got 12 turns here, and I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen here after they take the last couple of turns behind that iRacing safety car. One thing I do know is there are no cautions here tonight, so they're going to have to sort it out there on the track. I know the admins are going to stay out of it. They got to sort it out themselves, but like I was saying, look at how narrow these walls are. As Adrian Schumacher blinking early, that's going to be a little bit of a worry for the driver of that 82 machine, but just a few more turns to go around here, and that's going to be the last time that we see the iRacing safety car again here tonight. So coming over that bridge from our broadcast booth vantage point here, and this is when the pace car is going to peel off down pit road.
Down pit road he goes, and we're coming to the green flag.
Yeah, that's Silverback Tax Solutions. Green flag is about to get waving here. Not sure if they've even established the Geico restart zone yet, but one thing is for sure, we are under green as they barrel down into turn number 1 here. Let's see if everybody gets through here cleanly. I'm going to take the under on that and say they don't, but so far, I'm looking to be wrong.
Wow, that is make me 0 for 1. I would have lost a lot of money on that bet. They were going around to, let's see, turn 2 were clean, and they almost even looked like they wanted to go 3 wide into turn 1 there for a second.
Yeah, and this is the fastest part of the track right here as Joseph Causey barrels down into turn number 4. And they're going to get up to about speeds of 140 here, which is very impressive when you consider you're on the streets of Chicago.
Hard 90s, rough terrain, rough course, and you're barreling down at 140 miles an hour and then bogging this thing all the way down to 50 miles an hour to make this hard left-hand turn and then into a quick right-hand turn.
Yeah, so coming around turn number 8 here, Joseph Causey leading his teammate Adrian Schumacher. He gets the early lead here, trying to lead this first lap. And this is probably the trickiest part of the circuit here. I'm going to call this the carousel because that's kind of what it reminds me of, and just carrying so much speed here, and you got to stay off that wall. And Joseph Causey doing a great job of it so far.
He is using every inch of this racetrack. I mean, two or three times I thought for sure he was going to make contact with that outside wall, but he's getting every inch of this course that he can, and he's got himself out to with 3 tenths of a lead here. And these two are already starting to run away from the field a little bit, establishing over a 2-second lead back to third place.
Yeah, so Ed Shearer leading the rest of the field back here. He's got his teammate Reese Schaefer just behind him in the 17 machine. Johan Seminario, he's going to be in 5th after picking up 2 spots and starting 7th tonight. He's looking to have some speed out there for his Yellow Stripe Motorsports teammates. Brian McAvoy maintaining that P6 position. Lane Hostler in 7th. Randy Nichols there in 8th. Ryan Johnson 9th. And Emerson Ardon rounding out the top 10. So a lot of guys from Tank Racing currently running in the top 10. Seeing Jordan Sailor's having some trouble back here. This is right by our SRN broadcast booth, coming back to the start-finish line, I do believe. Nope, I'm wrong. That's right at turn number 2. It's going to take me a while to get used to this circuit here.
Like we said, especially with no reference of actually seeing it live. And I've been to Chicago once, but I hung out at the Navy Pier area, so didn't see this part of the city too much. But we've got somebody looking to the inside here. That's the number 57, making a very tight. I didn't think that was going to be a passing zone because it was so tight going into there. And then also that little chicane area that you talked about. That was not an area that I expected to see as a passing zone, but Ardon making it work and moving himself up to 13th.
Yeah, I think Ardon more defending than anything. He's lost a couple positions in a hurry here, down 4 now in 13th. Looks like he's got a hungry Alonzo King just behind him, wanting to pick up a few spots. He's already up 2 positions, up in 14th position. Ballesteros and Domain just behind him. A lot of these guys right here, these are the guys that are currently battling on that cut line, and they're going to need every point they can get here tonight because, like I said, this is a very advantageous race if they can come away with top 10 points here tonight and not have to burn one of those drop weeks.
Absolutely, because you figured a lot of guys, we were expecting to see a little bit more turmoil, a little more chaos than we're seeing. A lot of guys, kind of making clean passes. It doesn't seem like anybody's fighting too hard right now. It's kind of early. I'm sure these guys are all feeling each other out. They know it's a very, very tricky course, trying to see who's put in the practice, who hasn't, who they feel comfortable around. They see Ardon getting there a little bit loose, and that's the other thing. Who is 50 laps here, and we're expecting a fuel window of just about halfway. Who's kind of saving their stuff for the whole 26 laps versus some of these guys that are really putting down some times, like Causey and Schumacher.
Yeah, and another thing that we're going to have to pay attention to is the fuel window. It's going to be super tight from what I'm hearing. We're going to have to figure out if these guys are going to make it a one-stop race or a 2-stop race, see what you said, and see if they are better one way or the other. But look at the lead at the 88 car. I mean, you see Sailors who had that problem. He's about halfway behind already. A lot of these guys, a few turns back. Causey putting down an incredible pace out in front there.
The wall.
Yeah, I'm hearing Lane Hostler is in the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of saw him back there. Yeah, he kind of didn't. That little speed exit that you said, trying to get all the momentum he can down that straightaway, and he ran the wall pretty hard there.
Yeah, so let's take a look at exactly what happened to the 61. Yeah, one of the fastest parts on the track here. You can really miss the braking zone very easily. I think that's what we're about to see here with the 61.
Oh, Yeah, just
Oh, that's
missed
not
the
too
braking
bad.
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Better than I thought. And when we saw it from the other angle, it looked very Ross Chastain-esque. It looked like he kind of went around that corner using the whole wall, but he was able to whoa it up enough and shouldn't be too much damage. It should be still pretty drivable.
Yeah, I think my favorite reference so far that I've heard, I think they're going to call it "Haul the Wall." I think I like that the most out of what I've heard
The,
so far. But Chastaining, all of that, we're going to have to figure out a good name for what just happened at Martinsville last week. But don't think that's what Lane was going for. Is Ryan Johnson spinning right in front
locks
of
him
him?
up. Locks him up, gets it sideways. He's stuck sideways on the track. Curious to see if the admin's going to let him get it whipped around. He
This
is.
is the tough
Oh, it's
part
going to
here.
be close.
Is he
Yep.
resetting there? Wow.
Yeah, he went to tow. Yep. And that's something to mention. The admins did mention before the race, hey, if you're stuck sideways, if you're in an issue, if you're causing a dangerous spot on the track, they're going to give you a little bit of time there to go ahead and get on tow and get off the track and get out of the racing line for these guys.
Seeing Johan Seminario also having a bit of an issue too, but not sure where it happened. Trying to catch up on that.
As they're already,
there he goes.
he spun it around. That's what we were talking about. Getting putting the power down on these things are going to whip around on you. As I believe we're already seeing lap traffic come into play for these leaders.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson's going to have to wait an eternity, too, it feels like, there on pit road. As now Emerson Ardon also having some trouble, too. I'm seeing he was falling through the field and also going back into the wall again. I think there you see the damage there on the left front. He's got a little bit of a dinged-up hood. So the 57, who is kind of taken on these road courses and really excels at them, having early troubles here. Down to 15, 6 positions lost already in 5 laps for the 57.
And the number 3 Saucier is also in the pit, so I'm sure he got into a wall somewhere as well and had to tow and get off the racing surface. So it's almost be a race of attrition. Who's going to be able to make just consistent laps, keep it off the wall? And I was really expecting a lot more incident points, a lot more missed braking zones and guys getting into each other. But so far, the only issues I've seen are solo drivers kind of missing the braking points. I haven't really seen any issues where there wasn't enough room given or anybody pushed real hard, as we see Ryan Johnson's getting back on the track now.
Yeah, and that's the leader just behind him. So Ryan Johnson early on a threat to fall a lap down, and we've seen Ryan Johnson do really well in the Truck Series last year at road courses, so we know he has speed here, but that just goes to show how treacherous this road course is, and really took it upon himself there to go ahead, take the tow, and going to earn the respect of a lot of drivers for doing just that, because that could have been really bad had he backed up right into whoever that was going behind him there.
I guarantee his other competitors think he's a righteous dude for pulling that off, because I'm sure a couple of those guys come around the corner and seeing him sideways, that was not fun. But it also speaks to how big this 2.2 mile track is. We know he had to go into the pit, he had to tow, and he still is on the lead lap as he comes back on the course.
Well, Besaw right on the tail here of Timothy Latham. He's trying to move up through the field. Besaw already up 6 positions from where he started here tonight on board. Yes, I know we are lacking the game audio right now. I will work on it during the break. Just messed up all my settings last week when I was trying to do things a little differently, so we will work on that. But this is on board Rob Besaw Jr.'s perspective here from 18th, and there you see Latham just in front of him. Brandon Domain, his teammate, there in 16th, and Rob Norfleet, all these drivers within striking distance looking to pick up some spots.
And you just see how tight this is to this section of the technical section of this course here. Not really a passing zone. You're just falling in line, hoping not to you kind of stay where you're at. Stay within striking zone, but don't give up anything extra. Stay right there. Wait for a mistake. That's what it's going to take right now with these guys running this kind of the separation they're running. Is, they're just kind of waiting for the guy in front of them to make a mistake. Nobody really seems to be wanting to push the issue this soon with now 7 of 50 laps in the books.
Well, something just happened here, and Adrian Schumacher has taken the lead just like that and has a 6/10 advantage over Joseph Causey there. So the 82 back out in front here and looking to maybe pull away with this thing. Maybe he was saving his stuff. I don't know, but 82 looking pretty fast as he's pulling away from the 88.
The 82 is looking fast, and looking at the scoring, the timing there, it looks like Johan Seminario, prior to Schumacher taking the lead there, he was cutting some serious time off to those leaders. He's now seemed to be running just a little bit slower pace than Schumacher, but still a little bit faster than his competitor. So we'll see how far the 12 comes up. Wow, these guys are really pushing hard. You see Schumacher in the wall there.
Yeah, he was getting every inch of the track that he could and really just executing in the braking zones. You can see this is where he's picking up time on Joseph Causey just behind him. Causey doing a good job of hanging on there in turn number 1, coming through turn number 2, and you can see Ryan Johnson still just out in front of him here. That is the advantage by just about 4 seconds, I'd say, as they just rip through the fastest part of the track right here.
Really impressed with these guys. You can tell they spent these 2 weeks really putting a lot of practice in. These guys are making it look smooth, really, for me, making it look easy, because I know I struggle getting around the course.
So there goes Ryan Johnson here just in front of the leaders. This is the longest straightaway on the course, but not as fast as that turn 4 sector. And it's just insane to think that these guys are doing 140 in the streets of Chicago. Like I said, I'm thrilled to possibly go to this race next year. I'm hoping it's a big turnout. I don't know if it's going to stay around for very long, but I think it's going to be pretty cool when we get out there.
Oh, good on NASCAR to, kind of think outside the box and at least give it a try, right? Hey, if nothing else, we'll see how these cars can do and how they handle. And so far, judging by what we're seeing here from the SRN drivers, they can put on a heck of a show. So why can't the Cup guys do it?
Absolutely. So just like that, Adrian Schumacher puts just about another second on Joseph Causey, and I think this is a preface of what the guys could be seeing here tonight, and that is a lot of the same from Adrian Schumacher. Pretty much our road course extraordinaire doing what he does. But we're going to step aside for a little bit, run a few quick commercial breaks, and come right back, and hopefully I'll have that sound fixed for everybody.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacktx.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
Well, back out here. I got a few things fixed while we were under the break, and some battles on the track heating up here, riding on board with Reese Schaefer behind his teammate Ed Shearer. This is for third position. That 17 car looking pretty fast here early on.
Absolutely. A lot of these guys looking extremely consistent. These two have been kind of stuck nose to tail for the majority of these first 11 laps, just looking for that moment to make a pass as they are catching lap traffic. While we were at break there,
Sailors
trying to move out of the way, kind of put himself in a bad situation, and it ends up in the wall. But we saw McDonald, Sailors, and Johnson go down, and I'm sure the leader Schumacher and Causey were thankful. Even though Johnson and Sailors were racing for a position, they both kind of graciously moved out of the way, and Schumacher said Dankeschön as he goes around. But we'll see if these guys in third and fourth get the same kind of friendly treatment as they're approaching now the same lap traffic that our leaders just went through.
You're going to get them all in by the end of the night. I know you are. So this is the battle for 16th right here. Besaw still leaning on Timothy Latham as Emerson Ardon back there taking a spin. He is just having a terrible race so far, just really struggling in that 57, probably dying to come down pit road and get some repairs. So this is the best battle on the track right now for 16th. These guys have been battling for a few laps here.
And what do you do if you're one of these drivers that you've locked them up a couple times, you spun a couple times, you've got those tires real hot, real angry, but you know a lot of these guys are trying to make this a one-stop race if possible. You force yourself to stretch it out and keep just fighting? Do you try to go get some tires real quick, try to keep, stop the bleeding, if you will, and try to get as fast of a pace as you can out there? It's a lot of different strategies that might come into play here in a few laps as well.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, like you said, we have no notebook of what to do here. It's unlike any course that these guys have ever run here. It kind of reminds me of the IndyCar series running at Nashville and that street circuit last year where they just didn't know what to expect. So a lot of trial by fire here happening right now. Side-by-side battle heading into turn number 12 here. Besaw going to try and take the position away. He's going to get by Timothy Latham for 16th.
Nice job there, kind of closing off the inside, not kind of forcing Besaw the outside. He really had to take a slow, wide angle in that corner, and that allowed him just to take over the position. And we'll see if he walks away or if this battle continues.
Seeing a question out there in the chat asking about Ed Shear if he has any damage. Hard to tell right here on board. Looking like it's all right.
Looking like it's okay from my angle, yeah.
So might have gotten into the wall somewhere out there, but these cars pretty resilient. And I'm not seeing really any crinkles in the hood. If there are, it's very minor. So Shearer currently back and forth. You can see the distance Schaefer has put on him, about a second and a half. That 17 is feeling pretty fast. Might come away with an all-tank podium here tonight if things hold up.
That'd be really impressive. Again, you can tell these guys have really put in a lot of work on this course. As Schumacher now out to some almost 2.5 second lead over Causey, and then some 7 seconds over Schaefer.
Yeah, and I'm worried that's going to keep growing on these guys. They know what to expect when this man is in the field here, and we got road courses all week here this week. We're going to be out at the Roval tomorrow for the Truck Series. And we always know how people feel about that one. It's mixed reactions everywhere out there. As Joseph Causey getting up in the incident here, it looks like he's lost some time.
Causey's something happened because now Ryan Johnson has gone back around him as he's trying to stay close to keeping his lead lap. Remember, there are no full course cautions, so there will be no lucky dog given or anything like that. If you go a lap down, there's only one way to get it back, and that's the hard way. Oh, yeah. Look at those rotors. Look at those rotors just heated up. Those tires screaming, and he just locks them up and slides into the wall there.
Yeah, we're going to ride on board here just so you can see this is not an easy track by any means. I'm seeing a lot of people say a really fun circuit. It is fun, but, man, I've never raced in it against
look at the wheel hop.
26 other guys. And, yeah, it just locks up that easily with those big brake rotors as hot as they are. Like you said, there goes Ryan Johnson on by. So Causey still maintains P2, but Reese Schaefer is that much closer now, just a second and a half behind.
And Reese sees that. I'm sure his spotter's telling him, hey, Causey's struggling, so I'm sure he's getting ready to push it a little bit harder. And that, like we mentioned it before, who was pushing real hard, who was saving and trying to run instead of running their fastest laps for the first 5 laps. Some of these guys I'm sure were out here just trying to run the most consistent 25 laps that they can. And there's another one spinning around.
Yeah, that's Mike Mosby back there. The all pink 99 machine. He's currently running 23rd here tonight. There you go.
And Mosby's
another one of Nichols there.
Yep, and Mosby was he's the first car a lap down, as I see it on the scoring pylon there, and there's Johan going around him as well. So again, here we are with we're expecting pits somewhere in the next maybe 10, 11 laps. Is anybody going to short pit it, try to a little bit faster? And I just don't see how it would be worth spending all that time in the pits. Even though with this large track, you're not necessarily probably going to go a lap down. I just think you got to stay out there and fight it. These guys are just fighting it hard through the field. And then you look at somebody here like Schumacher is just making it look easy, smooth all the way through every one of these corners. That's got to be frustrating for the field.
Yeah, we see all the incidents happening with everybody out there too. I mean, we've already covered numerous accidents out there, and people got to keep in mind that we have that incident point limit there. 17X is going to get you the boot out of this thing, I do believe. Either 16 or 17. I got to go refresh my memory, but if you get anywhere that close, you're going to have to really start worrying, as I'm seeing Alonzo King now involved in something. So he's been one of those mid-pack drivers here. You got to be careful when you're around all these guys. So he is currently in 12th position, has made some good progress after starting the night in 16.
And you got to think some of these guys I've seen hit the wall with this hard of contact. I would think it's every bit of a 4X for some of these guys with some of this head-on hard contact. So, the 17X limit, you're looking at, 4 of those and one more just a little bump up against somebody else. And next thing you know, you're out of the race.
So 15 laps done just like that. These guys going to be out here for a little while. Yeah, it's a longer circuit than it looks like. 2.5 miles.
And it looks like we got a good battle. Kind of the tightest battle looks 7th through 9th. I think here with Hosler, Gandy, they seem to be some of the tighter ones through the field here.
Yeah, they're all separated by 1.5 seconds each, but yeah, for the most part, everybody getting split up pretty evenly. We're seeing people make their mistakes, and we're seeing people take advantage of those guys that are making mistakes. The one doing it the most so far is Rob Nortfleet here in the 56 machine. He is currently up 9 spots and looking to pick up some more. He's got Alonzo King just in front of him, who we were just talking about, involved in the latest incident out there on the track, accruing some of those incident points that we keep saying you got to keep an eye on, because like I said, this track it's a long lap time. It's going to be an hour-long race here, so you really got to pace yourself and not use them up too early, because you're going to have to really start being safe out there, and that's going to slow you up even more.
And just be so consistent with your braking points, knowing that as this race and they goes on, backing up your corners, hitting your right shift points, and with this being a 2.5 mile circuit and 12 corners, I know me personally, I'd probably halfway through this race be almost forgetting what corner you're going into. There's so many corners.
Yeah, honestly, 12 laps here, or 12 turns here, they start to add up. It's similar to Watkins Glen out there almost. Kind of looks similar figure-wise as well. Almost, I feel like that's the closest track that we can kind of replicate it to.
Yeah, you almost kind of have it kind of like a bigger bus stop there going around the park and the statue in the park and everything. Kind of does look a little reminiscent of Watkins Glen, but again on a road course versus a actual race course with banking and everything to kind of aid the drivers through the corners. There's nothing here. As you see those cars bouncing as they come through that section, getting on the throttle in that tight area, and the car bouncing around on them. That's pretty impressive to keep it under control and under power.
Yeah, as we watch Blair Holloman defending 14th, got Brandon Domain and Rob Esau just behind him. Brandon down 5 positions from where he started. Blair gets real sideways there and saves it.
Good
and that could save him
save.
a few positions here, as he's going to hang on to that 14th position, but that's going to wake him up a little bit here.
Oh, absolutely. And then you always got to worry about going into the next corner. How hot do those tires get? Are they going to grip up, or did you overheat them? He's got to take it real easy. Oh, he locks him up there a little bit as well. He's going to have to take it real easy his next few corners, trying to get those tires cooled down, as he still probably has about 8 more laps that he wants to try to get around here. So several, some 70-some more turns that he needs to go around before he gets this thing finally down in the pits and get some fresh tires.
Yeah, well, that's another thing, too. I mean, these guys not very familiar with the circuit. They're going to have to be practicing those pit road entries all week long, so curious to see who really put in the time and effort to figure that out to where you can get everything you can, because we've never done it before. But watching the battle here for a 14th position, looking like Brandon Domain, as well as his teammate there, Beasall, just behind him, a little bit faster than Blair Holloman in the second half of this track. And Blair really steps away in that first portion, so you can see, wow, the car really bouncing there as they went through turn number 10.
Yeah, he's not trying to cool down those tires. He's pushing and giving it everything he has, knowing he's got 2 teammates behind him that kind of see him struggling a little bit, and they're ready to pounce. But is it just me, or I mean, Schumacher is just getting stronger every lap. Now it's 9 seconds. This is very, very, very impressive.
It is absolutely impressive, as he's putting Emerson Ard on there a lap down. We've seen the struggles that he's had all night. So 57, 1 lap down in 18th. Got Brad Herman just behind him, also a lap down. So that just shows the level of quality of driver that's already going down a lap. And this is the first half of the race, still have yet to cross that halfway marker. He's got Timothy Latham just in front of him, next to go a lap down in 17.
And Timothy Latham is running with she's probably about 8-10 seconds from getting lapped. And then you'll have kind of that pack that we were just watching. Holloman, Domingue, and Beasall Jr. will be the next ones up for him to get. And, have 3 guys fighting for position. If you're Schumacher and you see the lead that you have, and you're watching your relative and you're catching like a pack like that, the veteran driver would probably kind of back off, kind of stay out of that fight, stay out of trouble, because he has a lot of time he can give up.
Yeah, so 110-mile race. Wow. Adrian Schumacher got real close to clipping that wall, and that could end your day here. Just one little mistake could be all it takes to end your day. So the 82 still got a long way to go before walking away with this thing, but a healthy lead, almost 10 seconds now. And got a good battle here between Norfleet and Ballesteros. Ballesteros going to lose that position. Norfleet up to 12th now. Next in line is Alonzo King in the 11th position. So Ballesteros starting to fall back a little bit here, back to 13.
Yeah, figuring he's got some old tires himself. Kind of
damage on the right front too.
Little damage as well. Yeah, he got into something somewhere as well.
Actually, I think I can have that right here. Let's see what happened to Drew Ballesteros. It's coming to turn number 1 as they cross the stripe right there. So maybe he just overshot it. It's there on the right front where it's going to happen.
Yep, the victim of driving in the rearview mirror. I think he felt the heat, saw the guys behind him, maybe driving a little bit too much in the rearview mirror and missed his brake zone and overdrove the corner.
Joseph Causey is back to 6th, and seeing he just had another issue out here on the track, looking like it might be the same spot. He's going to get through turn 1 cleanly, so maybe it's turn number 2 here.
He took a real shallow, locks him up.
Hit.
Big hit. Big hit for Joseph Causey. That's going to be major damage. He's got a wheel damage. Yeah. He just killed that car. Man.
Is he still out there? No, he's on pit road right now. Those repairs fixed. Already on pit road for 30 seconds.
Wow.
So just like that from the lead. That's what I was just saying. One mistake. You saw the damage on that car when it happened. Ripped that car apart, gave him wheel damage. That's going to be a lengthy pit stop.
And early on, we saw, a handful of drivers that were struggling. Now we're starting to see it through the whole field. It's like, this track's like Oprah, you get a mistake, and you get a mistake, and you get a mistake. And it's just everybody out here. The only one who's not is this man who's going berserk right now, Schumacher. I think he's almost got it set in his mind. He's going to try the whole field.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the Causey incident had anything to do with it, but those times next to the driver there on the tower are the last lap times. Schumacher's got his teammate there or his Tank Racing satellite teammate, I should say. He's got it by 2 seconds.
Yeah, and you see Nichols and Johan there also in the 128 range still. I think Johan is going to be one to watch here. He's been consistent and consistently just cutting a little bit off, not pushing it, not over pushing it, knowing it's a long race, and he's just consistently worked his way up through the field. He gets by, I believe that's Justin Wright out there.
Yeah, it's the 41 of Matthew Dula.
Matthew Dula.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a struggle. He's now 1 lap down and fighting for those positions further on back. But yeah, you're going to have to watch out he had to lock up the brakes right there going into turn number 9. And he's got to be real careful. I know he's driving aggressively to try to make his way up to the front. Don't think he's going to have time to catch Schumacher, who ran an even quicker lap time there last time, 127.7. But,
no, I don't think he's going to catch Schumacher, but he definitely. I would not be surprised to see him with a podium finish the way he's driving right now.
Yeah, he could easily drive his way up to P number 2 here. You can see he has Shearer right there, and Nichols just in front of him. He's got him in his sights right here. So keep an eye, using up all the track here as he heads into turn number 1.
A real smooth entry there. So we have a slow car. Looks like maybe got in the wall. Big damage there. I didn't catch a number. Still struggling, and some more checking up hard, slow cars. It's starting to get real dicey as we got some serious comers and goers, some guys maintaining pace, some guys really struggling to find any pace out here on the track right now.
Yeah, dealing with lap traffic. That's another thing that nobody has dealt with. How you're gonna? It's such a narrow circuit. It reminds you of kind of Phoenix, where it's got the walls on both sides of you on the straightaway there, but it's all the way around this track. Where are you going to go to get around these guys that are a little bit slower? And there's a few of them out there. It's just it comes with road courses. Not everyone's going to be up to par and running as quick a lap times as some of these guys are putting out there. So you're going to have to learn to deal with that, and that's what these guys are doing here on the fly.
And it's not just necessarily how slow the guys are in front of you, it's also where you catch them. You see through this section of the course, nice, wide, 4 or 5 lanes wide, some big sweeping corners, some decent passing zones. But then as we get down to the section of the track, the more technical section, it gets real narrow, real sharp corners, and you can just get basically stuck behind somebody for that whole section waiting for the next clean passing zone.
Keep an eye on this battle between Phoenix Virtual Racing and teammates here, currently making their way through the field, currently 13th and 14th. Let's head up here to 3rd, where we got a battle starting to heat up for 3rd position between Shearer, Nichols, and Seminario, who's now in the picture as well. He's going to come away, but Shearer's going to have to play some defense here as we are just before pit stops.
Yeah, these guys have to go watch the fuel, watch the tires. They're going to be racing hard here for these next 2 laps. And as you've mentioned, this is going to be a green flag stop, something that you don't sometimes get a lot of, especially on one you've never really pulled into the pits that much before. I know a lot of guys were, pulling into the pits or towing into the pits a lot of time during practice. They were kind of wrecking on the course, so who took their time to really practice and know the pit entry, that could really be the difference between these guys 3rd through 10th who can get on and off pit road.
Big hit there for Nichols.
Big hit. Did he lock him up, or did he get into the corner of the wall there?
He got into the corner. He got the edge of the wall just at the end there. And he got big time damage there on the 42, I do believe. Or maybe he got lucky and got away with it, but that was a big hit.
Yeah, it looks like he might have got away with it. We might have to go back and take a look at that one.
It didn't register as a wreck
as
for
an
me.
incident.
So yeah,
I wonder if he locked him up. And did I just see? I just saw somebody pulling in the pits. So we got somebody going here at last.
That's Seminario.
Oh, and Nichols gets in the back. So Johan and Nichols just got in the back of the Ardon. Wow, Ardon is just.
I'm worried he is going to be the first victim of that disqualification flag at the incidents that they're just racking up for the 57 here.
We know he's gotten to the wall a couple times. Unfortunately, just kind of a bad situation where Dula came around the corner there, and the Ardon was just kind of right there. Old tires, you can't really slow down, but so fast. So Johan was our first pit taker here at lap 24, so he thinks he can go at least 26 laps to the end.
So yeah, he's made his bed and he's going to lay in it as he has 26 long laps to go. Seeing Brad Herman pop up as the latest victim of being involved in an incident. I think he's taking the tow. And he is going to go down pit road. Might be calling it a night, but Adrian Schumacher going to join him there on pit road.
Yep, Schumacher coming here at lap 25. We kind of thought if you got to lap 25, you better come in there because with 2.5 miles around this course, you might not get a chance to come back to the pits. And Johan, being kind of the third car in that battle that we were watching there before these pit cycles started, he might have thought, hey, instead of fighting these guys and going a little bit slower, he might try to short pit those guys he was competing with, get out on the track, have some clean track around him to be able to run some faster, at least out laps here early on. And the majority of the field now trying to get to pit road.
Well, the first taker here to go an extra lap is going to be the 42 of Nichols, it looks like, but still not going to matter. Schumacher is still going to be in the lead out in front of him after pitting. That just goes to show the gap that this 82 put on everybody.
Wow, that's impressive. So, yeah, you got to get at least one who still hasn't pitted yet to get out and still get out in front of them. And this has got to be kind of a sticky situation here for Schumacher, because some of these guys have been out here for a little while. Some of these guys that we know took some tows, probably got some tires and got some service then. So he's going to be flying around this track, and the closing speed that he's going to have on some of these slower cars is going to be more than he's experienced throughout the majority of this race. And we'll see how he handles it.
Guys, the stream is shut down right now.
Nope.
It's shut down.
Yeah, it says stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violations.